What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bench. This is an emergency pod because this morning we got some big news out of the NFL. I'll just get right to it here.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, some heartbreaking news out of the NFL. This morning, Ian Rappaport tweeted, Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson suffered a season-ending shoulder injury in the first quarter against the Ravens and is heading to IR. It's a displaced fracture in his right glenoid of his shoulder, and he'll have surgery to repair it. Full recovery is expected, but big news out of Cleveland. Deshaun Watson out for the year.
Yeah. First initial reaction when I saw it was what a downer to all the hype that this show gave them and people were giving them for their win over Baltimore. All that momentum is just completely drained. It's just down to zero.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson, of course, signed that $230 million fully guaranteed contract. I believe he's earned about $92 million of that, and I think I saw a tweet that he has played 12 games so far. So far, this contract isn't playing out very well. It, of course, sparked a whole bunch of controversy among quarterbacks, everyone wanting guaranteed money. Lamar Jackson, kind of the most notable there. But Deshaun Watson being out is just to lose him and Chubb in the same year, just completely, in my mind, debilitates this team and takes them out of the running for a championship for sure. I guess playoffs are still a chance. I mean, if we're giving the Jets a chance, then I guess you got to give the Browns a chance. But this is just terrible for this team. Let's talk about this injury, first of all, because I want to give him this props. This man got hurt in the first half of the game. And in the second half, 14 for 14.
Yeah, that was the first game where you saw that little Houston Texans Watson, that little magic. Like, wow, this guy plays hurt, and he is the entire offense. He was creating, he was breaking tackles, and you saw he was limping every play. Like, he's playing hurt, but he's still doing this for our team.
Yes, he was limping, because not to mention he also had a sprained ankle.
Yeah, which got diagnosed as a high ankle sprain. So he was playing on a high ankle sprain, and his shoulder was whatever happened to his shoulder. I'm not whatever you said earlier. I don't know the exact, but yeah,
his glenoid.
Tough kid.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, the glenoid.
Yep. You'll see. I was painting my bathroom when we had to make this emergency pod. So we're always here for you, truly.
Yeah.
From Tom Pelissero. Deshaun Watson wanted to be shot up and play through the injuries, and he sought multiple medical opinions, but doctors were clear. If he got hit again at the same spot, this is a quote from Pelissero, their shoulder would fall apart. Jeez.
Sheesh. Yeah. I mean, props to him. Definitely his team that put out that story about him wanting to play through it. A little bit of that's good, a story for his team to put out. Like, hey, let's put this. Absolutely. But either way, that's not the reason why the thing that we should be looking at is that he wanted to gut through it because he saw what we all see. This team, if I'm playing the way I play, if I just hit a stride in my career again with this team, I can win a Super Bowl this year. I can win a Super Bowl like right now.
Right.
But obviously, taking the advice of doctors, he wants to play another 10 years instead of maybe another 2 if he gets hurt again. So right. I get it.
Yeah. So Nick Chubb has already said he's going to try to come back next year. So next year, hopefully, they get a healthy Chubb and Watson and make a run again. Let's look at the Browns now, where this leads them, kind of the fallout. They're currently sitting in 6th place in the AFC, right in the thick of it. Here's the remaining games. They've announced that DTR is going to be the starter, which, I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. They threw him into the fire against Baltimore. He had 3 picks. But if you watch PJ Walker, I think this is more just about, let's see if this kid can be a backup for us, because next year we need to get a quality backup for Deshaun Watson. That's what this is like, an audition to be the backup next year, because you can't get out of the Watson contract. So right now you're trying to think, like, if he can give us 500 record for this team, we'll get into the playoffs, and whatever happens there happens. But next year, if we get Watson, once we get Watson back, we need to make sure we have this backup quarterback position solved right now. Solved for next year, like that. We got to see, like, that's all I saw. It's like they're trying to see if this kid has something.
I think it's a little more than that. I think this team is sitting at 6-3, and if we're honest, they've done most of that without Deshaun Watson already. I think they might be
Hmm.
thinking if we can get DTR just to take care of the ball, and that's Dorian, Thomas. What is it?
Jordan
DTR Robinson.
Robinson, yeah.
Yeah. Who flashed in the preseason. I think if we get him to take care of the ball and just move the offense, this defense is good enough for us to maybe make some noise. I think they're going to try to like go for the playoffs here. I think they're trying to still win.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. But also, meanwhile, you're doing that. You're seeing this kid's a cheap contract, and you get Watson back. We're not going to bench Watson. We're not going to sit Watson. We can't trade Watson. Let's see if this kid has something left. That way, if Watson gets to get hurt again, at least we know we have someone here who could actually lead us to something. So it's not obviously it's not an ideal situation, but at least you drafted a quarterback who's shown something. So like at least you have something to look forward to as a Browns fan. Like let's see what this kid has. And good defense, don't do a lot, just manage the game.
Yeah, it's worth a shot because PJ Walker just wasn't it. Here's the remaining games on their schedule. I want you to tell me. I guess.
Oh my
I want you to tell
god,
me
I
win loss. What's that?
okay. It's gonna be tough because I want to see something more from DDR, but as of right now, on paper, let's just play it out.
Okay, let's talk about winnable games then. They got the Steelers one more
Yeah,
time.
winnable.
They got the Broncos. They got the Rams and Jaguars. Okay, let's look at those four: Steelers, Broncos, Rams,
Okay,
Jaguars. I think good.
Steelers is winnable.
Yes.
Yeah, just because it's a divisional game. Last time they played, it was Deshaun Watson who was holding them back. If you remember that, that was the Monday night game,
Right.
week 2, right? Yeah,
Broncos.
that's winnable for sure. Winnable. Broncos are they're okay, but winnable for sure.
Rams.
Yeah, I think it's winnable. Yeah, I mean, unless if Stafford's back, because that defense is just so good. So yeah, I guess they're in any game. But yeah,
Jags.
Jags are good.
Yeah,
That
I
one
think
might
Jags.
that one's where they kind of might hit a tough spot.
Yeah, that also might be the lowest over under of the year. When they play
Yeah.
the Jags. So right now we have them at 8-5. Okay. Bears,
Mm-hmm.
they're getting healthy. I think that's a loss.
Okay.
8-6. Texans, I think they're on the way up. That's a loss. That is 10-7. Jets, that's literally that Spider-Man meme.
That's the same characters looking at
The
like each
same.
other. If Zach Wilson is still playing this bad at that time, that's a different conversation. But if DTR, yeah,
Yeah.
that's whoever makes the least amount of mistakes. But yeah, that is winnable though for sure. That's winnable.
And then you got the Bengals. I think we both have that as a loss. So we're thinking this team is probably going to reach 10, maybe 11 wins. I think they can still get in the playoffs at that. I think this 6-3 start has really set them up to, hey, you're there.
Yeah, even if you turn out to be 500, that's still a winning record. You could
That'd be
still sneak
11
in the
wins.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still enough. And this AFC is really tough. So now they have this 6-3 start with Watson, now without Watson. That's a great kind of leeway. Like we have a couple games here to learn what DTR is good at, and to make sure he doesn't do too much because you don't need to do too much with this team.
Yeah.
Just don't mess it up.
This was an important year for the Browns because of the cap hit of Deshaun Watson's contract. The cap hit this year is 19 million. But next year and for the next 3 years, it jumps up to 63.9 million.
It's a little bit of money.
Yeah, that's a lot. We've seen them clearing cap and stuff like that, and we've assumed that they're going to bring in someone else. But now that's pretty much going to get eaten up by this contract. That's 63 mil.
Yeah, yeah. This is next year. They're gonna have to do a lot of I don't know a lot of wheeling and dealing, and you got to nail this draft because 60 million you can't afford certain guys. Some of the young guys are going to look for contracts, look for deals. I know they have a young secondary, young linebacking core. Eventually, they're going to have to pay them. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. Early predictions is that they start cutting guys like Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Conklin's gonna be gone because they have a nice rookie there, right tackle. They'll start getting cheap at places where they can, but Yeah, this was an important year. This was the year. If you're not
Yeah.
looking at it from like a wide point of view, this is the year for the Browns to win.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go
Low
next.
number for Watson. Yeah.
I think they start cutting salary now and start doing things that
Yeah.
teams have to do when you sign a franchise quarterback. That cap number 63 million is insane. And you're going to start to see it reflect on the roster. And draft capital becomes king for this team. If this would have happened before the trade deadline, I think you would have seen a lot of movement.
Yeah. Oh, they would have been. You know what's crazy? I saw this tweet. They had Dobbs on their roster and traded him the last day of preseason.
They did. That's a great.
They had Dobbs on the
point.
roster.
Yeah, it's a
They
great.
had Dobbs on the roster. And what this is another thing about preseason. Okay, it's great. It helps out a lot of players. Dorian Thompson-Robinson obviously helped out him. But let's not look too much into this because they had Dobbs and they traded Dobbs because of the play of DTR in the preseason.
Right.
Then you put both of them in the regular season and you saw which one was better. So next season, when we're trying to figure out who's good or not, preseason will show you ability, but won't show you capability. You know what I'm saying? Like, just beware next year when players like Josh Dobbs are on your freaking roster. God, how many teams watched – what a league year that we're in where most teams wish if we had Josh Dobbs, we'd be a Super Bowl contender. That is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. It's also dropping bars with that capability line. That's pretty sick.
You know what? When I was saying that, I was like, yo, this is tight. Yeah.
I mean, I think it makes sense too. Like, I think it works. So yeah, bars. That is the emergency pod for today on this Deshaun Watson news. Sucks. I have to imagine he's not on your top 10 next week, but we'll see how they play this week with the
Browns.
rookie, with the Bruins rookie, UCLA alum, Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Yeah,
Excited for him.
I saw a lot of him in college. I'm a UCLA fan, so I saw him in college. When he gets hot, he's hot. But obviously, this ain't college anymore, dog. This is the NFL. These are big boys now.
Yeah, that is a wrap here. This is Emergency Pod. I want to just kind of remind you, our full episode is up right now on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, wherever you hear your podcast. Search at Bench Show, and that's our Week 11 rankings, a little fantasy advice, a Thursday night football preview, so much stuff. Go check that out. That's also
Monday night recap
on our page. Yeah, Monday night recap. A lot of stuff going up there. Just wanted to give this to you. That is it. We will see you Friday.